Yes, sir. Absolutely. Who's the running? Is that a running back? Oh, that's
I don't know.
yeah.
Quest to be the best, the road to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's here though this year, but I'm not worried about the Super Bowl. I'm worried about the golf courses. There's a huge article in here about Hawaii golf courses. Kapalua,
All right.
Phil
All
Mackay
right.
course are listed. Both hashtag Playtroom courses. Hey, we're live. Let's stop talking about golf. Well, not golf. Let's stop talking about football.
I
We
thought this was a golf show.
It is a golf show. We're going to talk about golf. We're not going to talk about football. I'm sad to announce that Jason Boslow is not joining us today, but he was just probably too upset that there was another Jason that was going to overshine him because today's guest is also named Jason. We're going to get to him in a second. This episode of the Friday Foursome, and I'm pumped about this because our guest today I haven't seen in a long time, and he's lost quite a bit of weight since the last time I seen him. So I am applauding him for his efforts on that. But this episode of the Friday Foursome is brought to you by the Back Nine Network. Les Bailey from Pro Golf Now, he's joining us. He's always here. Well, that one time you weren't here. I made fun of you for not being here that time too.
Yeah, I'm
J-
sure.
Jason Boslow is stuck in meetings all day, but that's okay because we have got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We've got Jason Helman, the #1 teacher in Canada, with us today, and I'm not even going to bother introducing him. I'm going to let him do that. Jason, welcome to the Friday Foursome.
Hey, Ricky, good to see you. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
So tell us who you are, what you do, where you're based, and what makes Jason Helman Jason Helman.
I'm Director of Instruction at Wayne Golf Club. I run my own academy out of here, so branded as Jason Helman Golf, as I'm sure you know. And I've been teaching, this is, I guess, my 22nd year of teaching and coaching. I teach 3-year-olds all the way up to 80-year-olds. Have taught numerous tour players and developed a lot of junior golfers. Had some go on to scholarships right from high school to play the PGA Tour of Canada, some web.com events, numerous I guess students that actually one of them that was here won the USGA Junior Boys Championship 2012. He was a young Korean student here and is homeschooled and moved down to the States, and I still coach him a little bit from time to time, and just a great family. His name's Andy Shim, and he just turned pro this year too, actually. So.
Well, that's very cool. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm going to start with social networking because you and I connect. I feel like we talk more on Twitter than we talk anywhere because we have to be in Florida at the PGA show to be able to see each other. But you're on Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and Instagram. You're all over the place with social networking. So how has social networking helped promote both yourself and your business, and what's your favorite network?
I think social networking is, I guess, vital if you're going to be an independent contractor these days. The thing with social media is that it's all free, other than what it costs you is your time. So if you put in 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and there's value to it. My first ever Twitter follower was John Graham, and to date I've done 5 aim-point clinics with him. We were the first to do aim-point in Canada. Levels 1 for sure, and then I think we were second to do level 2, and it's just evolved since. But if you're talking about ROI and social media, I've done 5 clinics with him. We've done okay. So when people find no value in it, there's some value right there. It just depends how you use it. So
John is an awesome guy, and that's cool. I didn't realize he was your first follower, and that's cool that you were able to work with him on some aim-point clinics. I don't think the guy ever teaches anymore. I think he just runs around the world teaching people how to make more putts, but that's really cool.
For sure, yeah. I think he's in Korea right now, actually. I saw a post this morning. So he's doing something over there with aim-point, and he has a short game skills video. I think it's with James Riggard. That they've put together, so they have a DVD out, and they're just pushing that and pumping that all over the place.
Oh, that's awesome. Hashtag make everything. Les, do you make everything?
Do I make everything? No, I don't make everything.
Well, you need to take an aim-point clinic with Jason Helman and John Graham.
In fact, they just sanded the greens at my golf course about 2 weeks ago, and it's still a little bit bumpy. Jason, I understand you made a trip to the Golf Channel, and I was just curious who your favorite Golf Channel personality was.
Wow, that's a really good question. I was on when Morning Drive, I guess it was basically in its sort of, I guess, infancy a little bit. I think I was there a year and a half in 2011, and it was Eric and Gary that were the hosts, and Holly was sort of the co-host, and it was really good. I was there in July. It was Canadian Open week, so we had a lot of fun, and it was my first, obviously my first trip to the Golf Channel. Had never been on it before, but it was a really great experience, and I guess my favorite personality. Let's see. Geez, I watched a lot of it too. It's not an instructor. I'm going to say that. Although I do like Michael and let's see. I guess I would go with Gary. Gary's a great guy. We had a good time on the show. He was very personable, and Eric was really personable too. So.
I had you pegged for Holly Saunders personally, but
she's awesome too. I just didn't really get to talk to her much because they have all kinds of stuff going on in between segments. So they pre-shoot a few segments beforehand, but not very much. So a lot of it is kind of live. So they're going over all of their information to make sure that they're on point.
Well, she's also an employee, right? So she's not with the Golf Channel anymore. So.
I think she's moved on. We're on Facebook together, and saw a couple of announcements that she's moving to the Fox network, and I think that's sort of public now. But, yeah. So
I hope it's public, because if not, that just became your third big announcement. And we're gonna get to your that might help this go viral though, so that's fine if she hasn't announced it. So maybe this will help.
She's pretty. I'm pretty sure she's announced it.
So let's get to your first announcement. Now, Jason Boslow, who's not with us today, is basically obsessed with junior golf. He runs Shop Junior Golf, and he is just his son Jace is going to be a really good golfer, and he kind of already is a pretty good golfer. But he's not the only Jason in the room, well, not in the room, that has something to do with junior golf. And you were telling me a little bit about this, a little sneak peek. But what announcement do you have about junior golf?
Well, we here in Canada, I've partnered up with another PGA of Canada professional who actually works in the United States. He works in San Antonio, Texas. His name's Tom Relf. And he runs USA Junior, the USA Junior Golf program down there, which is USGA, our US Junior Golf National Team. And we are now branching out to Canada and having the Canadian Junior Golf Team. So there's, you can go to the CanadianJuniorGolfTeam.com or CanadianJRGolf.com. It's not full word junior. The site is now live, so we're excited about that. We have a really, really great program. It's based on skills versus just age groups. So we have basically a platform or a model to go from where you are gonna you have certain baselines to reach. And there's developmental 1, development 2, future stars, pre-elite, and then elite. So we're looking for 24 kids in the development 1 through future stars, and then 8 kids in the pre-elite or elite. So we're looking for 4 girls and 4 boys in the higher levels, and they'll have an opportunity to go to Scotland in 2015 to compete against the Scottish Union team and the USA junior national team that they bring. So we'll have a Canadian, USA, and Scottish tournament over there.
That is so cool.
Pretty exciting, and we're going to be doing it at the host facility here for the first 5 months. Starts November 1st. The program runs through the end of March, and then hopefully we'll have a team, and then we can break out into the spring golf here in Canada. And we can be more excited to launch it. The site just went live literally about 30 minutes ago. So.
And I had a chance to play around with the site before we went live today, and it looks awesome. So I am really excited to see. And I like the fact that it's for 4 boys and 4 girls, because that's going to help raise awareness for not only junior golf but also getting more females involved. And that's just what a cool way to help encourage our next generation of future athletes. So that's very cool, and I'm excited to see where that goes. Are you going to get to go to Scotland then? You going to go over there with everybody?
I will be going to Scotland. There's a few training camps in between too that we're hoping, if we get enough kids signed up, there's one in Florida, in Orlando at Reunion. There's another one in Houston. There's one in San Diego, and there's also one in Kapalua in January. that might be available for, if we get enough kids to sign up, that they can definitely attend. And there's 4 really good locations.
Well, you were saying you didn't know if you were going to go to Hawaii, but well, even if you don't go, well, I'll go for you if you need me. If you need me,
I would love to go. So it's January the 2nd. I just don't know what's going to go on for New Year's and all that stuff. But
We're just hoping you take your clubs with you when you go to Hawaii, like
I
some
have
of
to
the
go
people
a
don't.
couple days early if I'm going to go there because I have New Year's in Hawaii. That'd be pretty cool.
I did that last year, and I must say it is an awesome experience. It's a great time of year to be there. The weather's perfect. Everything else is expensive, but it's a great time of the year to be there. So if you do go, let me know, and I'll make sure you get the hookup at Kapalua and get the chance to see the golf course. And Les played the golf course before it was 36 holes. He played it a long time
No,
ago.
not Kapalua. I played all 18 holes on Kapalua.
Oh, you played all 18 there. I thought you said you only played 9.
No, that was a while later.
That is really cool, Jason. I'm pumped to see where that's going to go, and I know that anything that you've got your hands on is going to be a success. So good luck to that, and I'll be paying attention with my eyes wide open on that. So very cool.
Thanks very much.
You know, the next question that Les has here, I don't know. I'll be curious to hear how you answer this. This relates to my boy. So Les, go ahead.
Well, last week, obviously, the biggest thing on the Golf Channel last week was the fact that Tiger had parted ways with Sean Foley, and I got to thinking about your situation, and you're sitting around and the phone rings one evening, and it's Tiger Woods, and he wants you to fix his swing. What are you going to do that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things I guess you could do. I mean, he's got so much talent. I think really, I mean, I don't know what's going on in anyone's personal life or anything like that, but in my experience, I know that whenever someone's playing very, very well, their personal life is usually at peace or very calm. So, and then obviously he's got injuries to deal with, so that's compounding the things as well. Swing changes. I mean, there's again, because he's so guarded, you don't really know what's happening physically with him. So unless you're within that inner circle, I think anyone making assumptions or guesses from outside the circle on what they would do or not do with his swing is really kind of, I mean, there's nothing you can say. You can think all you want about what it's supposed to look like and how pretty it's supposed to be, or how efficient or functional it can be, but until you know the bottom line, what actually is the problem with his body, and you know, because we really don't know. We're just it's a lot of hearsay. There's no facts that are really out there that I know clearly. You know, obviously he has a back issue, and he has a knee issue, and he has an Achilles issue. But you don't know to the extent of which those injuries are limiting him. So until you understand the limitations, I don't really think you can make any changes or assumptions on what you do in his swing from a technical issue, you know, from a technical standpoint, or issues that would help him. But from a mindset standpoint, again, unless you talk to the guy, you don't really know where he is, what his aspirations are. If you just, you know, I mean, there's so much that goes on in a player's head. So he wants to win. We know that. He always says that. I'm here to win every tournament. That's just been his motto for his whole career, which, if you're going to be the #1 player in the world, that pretty much has to be your motto. You know, I want to win every time. So I don't think from a technical standpoint I would make any comments on what I would do or not do, because I just don't know what his limitations are or not.
So you don't know all the facts then?
Yeah, you need the facts to make a decision, to make any, you know, these are critical decisions of a player's, you know, this is their job. So, you know, their livelihood, maybe not to the extent that Tiger is, because he's got so many endorsements, but if you had a guy who's 180th on the money list and you decide to make a swing change, you better be right, because you don't want him to go backwards. He's already at 180th. He's looking to go forwards. So those things are critical in making decisions. And then a lot of it really comes down to, if you watch interviews and you listen to players talk when they do post-round interviews, and the players who have played well, the word calm is present in all of their statements. Patience. They're patient. They're calm. I just kind of went about my business out there, and I got the job done, and I didn't overthink things, and my mind was calm, and I don't think anybody really listens to what they're actually saying. And I think if more players listened to what they said in a post-round interview and actually applied some of those things,
Right.
they actually be in a better place when they actually decided to play their own game.
Well, it seems to have worked for Rory. He's calmed down and he's playing a lot better golf now.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at his personal relationship. He wasn't ready, from what he says, and he made the decision to part ways, and then refocus back on his game and pay attention more to what he's doing. And then look where he's got 2 majors and another win, which he's doing okay since then. And if you look at the other side of it, the tennis side, she's doing really well at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of both of them are in a different place now and refocused and maybe rejuvenated and are playing great in both their sports. So
Right. Right.
I just take a vacation to rejuvenate, but I'm also not playing on the PGA Tour. So you have been named the #1 teacher in Canada. What does that mean to you? How did you get to that point, and how has that affected the way you teach after having been named the number? I mean, talking about being #1, you are #1.
Well, thank you very much for that. There's a lot of great teachers here in Canada. I'm certainly amongst some of the top teachers. A CEO said to me one time, I guess it was maybe about 15 years ago, and he said, if you never call yourself #1, you'll never be #1. So, maybe within, I think I'm a great teacher, and maybe I think I'm a #1 teacher. I just think that there's so many good ones out there. You can't really be #1. I mean, there was 4 #1 teachers in the world at one time. Whenever I watched a commercial, there was Hank Haney, Butch Harmon, Jim McLean, and who was the other one? Can't think now.
See.
But Ledbetter. So
Ledbetter, yeah.
sorry, David. But every time I'm watching an infomercial, it's the #1 instructor. I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't the other guy #1? And what about that other guy who's pumping this? Was he #1 too? Like, there's 4 #1s. So I guess that would be a nice title to have. But I just worked really hard over the last 21 years, and I guess you just sort of pay your dues, and to get the recognition from peers from the PGA of Canada was certainly nice, and that was in 2010, and recently I was nominated 2 years ago, I guess, for Golf Magazine Top 100, and those are coming out again soon in October, so hopefully I make that list. That would be a wonderful list to be on. There's some really great names and passionate people about teaching and coaching on there, so it would be an honor to make the list. If not, hopefully one day. But I guess just really hard work and being diligent about stuff that you do. And I'm on a continuing learning schedule here, so I like to pick and choose some of the things that I learned. So if I go learn aim point 5 years ago with John, and there's TrackMan and Flight Scope, and you've got the Gears system out now, which is pretty amazing. There's one out west with Rob Holding in Canada. It's the only one I know of. There's 2 that just went into New York. Had a couple of labs there, so those are I guess that would be the next step technically, to go and see and maybe go to Dallas and see Dennis Sales down there. He has one with John Sinclair. So I think just staying on top of the technical information that's coming out will help better us as coaches and teachers, and basically the practical application. I don't teach by the numbers on Flight Scope, but they certainly help me and help my students understand what's happening with ball flight and why it's being created, versus just looking at it and go, this happened because of this, right? So it's a world of technology, and we just keep advancing all the time. And I think just keeping up with that and keeping educated is sort of where every coach and teacher should be. And if you're not, then you're just kind of staying at the same level all the time, and that's okay too. It just depends on what direction you want to go with teaching and coaching. But I think staying educated certainly is going to obviously better your coaching and teaching as you go along.
Les.
Oh, you're waiting for me, huh? Okay, I've got an occasional problem where I tend to slide on my backswing instead of turn. Is there any drill I can use to fix that problem?
You're right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Right-handed. Yes, there's a bunch of drills. We can strap you in with the alignment sticks, alignment rods. There's a device called the Power Wedge that I use from Skills Golf, and you can stick that or a golf ball under your right instep, so it braces you up. And if it really is really bad, we can stick a bucket under your right foot, so that when you turn, if you push that bucket over to the right, so be safe when you're doing this drill. Don't do it fast. You're going to be doing it slow, sort of a slow motion drill, so that you can feel yourself braced against that right side. So those are the three I would give you.
And that obviously sliding on the backswing produces a high ball flight and cutting across the ball, right?
It can produce a lot of things. Sliding, I mean, I wouldn't say that it produces high ball flight. I mean, depending on where you find the low point, you could hang back and bottom out early, right? So you could slide back and then not slide forwards and just kind of hang back there, and then go forwards with just hands and arms, and then you'd be in trouble, right? So the more you move away from the ball, the harder it is to find the low point. How about that?
That works, yeah.
The more you shift to the right, the harder it is to come back and find the bottom low point of center. So if you want to call it center pivot, the less motion you have in rotation. I mean, I can stand up and do it if you want, or even in a chair. So I'm sitting like this and making a turn, right? So you can see the picture behind me, and my head's pretty much in the same spot, right?
Right.
If I shift, right, now I got to find the low point again, and then I've got to come back, and hopefully I find my hands and arms match up and find the low point at the bottom, versus just staying in one spot turning. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to shift weight to the back. It's going to, with rotation, there's going to be some pressure and shift that goes to the right a little bit. So then we've got to find it to go back to the left, right? So
right.
There's obviously a sense of timing and tempo and pace that comes along with that. But I think the biggest misconception is that people don't understand conceptually how to create power, if that makes sense. So your instinct is to move away from it to try and create more speed.
Really?
Yeah.
I just want to see Les put a bucket under his foot and just see what happens.
Yeah, you want to see him push that bucket over and fall down.
Yeah.
Yeah, your instinct is to create more speed, is to shift to the right and sway over there, because you feel that you're going to make, on the downswing or transition, you feel that you're going to be able to gain more power. That's what your brain is telling you. So that's why you do it.
Really? No.
I actually thought the answer to that question was going to be, there's an app for that. Now wait a minute. Tell me about your next announcement.
There's an app for that. There's an app for everything. So
there is.
I'm
the no slide app, right?
certainly proud to announce that I have an app coming out. It's been in development since April. Actually, it's been in development for 2 years. It was a year and a half in my brain, in my head, thinking about how I'm going to do this until I wrote it out on on paper. So then it was sitting in my office for about 6 months, and then I finally found someone that can develop it for me. So it's called the Red Zone Golf Combine. I'm not going to elaborate too much on it, but basically it is a series of tests with over 200 shots within the app that you can do in your short game. There's going to be a worldwide leaderboard. There's going to be a buddy board, so you can compete against your buddies. There's also a coaches sign up or registration for it where the coach can sign up all their students and have their own private leaderboard, so their students can compete against the rest of the students that coach teaches. So those are some of kind of some of the things that we're doing. There's going to be a par 18 test on there. You can create your own par 18. There's a playlist. You can have your own playlist, and anybody who puts a playlist in will accumulate through the app, so you can try somebody else's playlist out. It's pretty cool. So it's hopefully going to be approved by Apple and Google Play by September 15th, between the 10th and the 15th. We've already submitted it again. There's also a free light version, so it's 99 cents to download the app, and then there's a free light version in there that gives you some access to some shots to try out and play with the app. I sort of showed a little bit to you before we got started here, but I'm pretty proud of it. It's been in development for quite some time, so I'm excited to launch it, and it's the first of its kind. There's nothing else out there like this. So we just can't wait to get it out. The company that developed it for me was Winning Identity, who also does coaching software for golf coaches and other coaches for other sports. They have an all-in-one application that you can have online scheduling and all kinds of other things for their software. So,
well, that's really cool, and I'm excited to use it. And anyone that is watching, make sure you pay attention to the golf community, because we are going to be giving away a free year of that app once it comes out here in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you pay attention to that. And that's really, why'd you pick red? I'm curious.
Red zone. We're going to get the red zone. It's about 100 yards in for golf. Football season just started, so they have a red zone. We watched the Packers and the Seahawks.
We were not supposed to talk about football.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I went with red zone. It's pretty much, and if you ever been to a 100-yard marker, most of them are marked red paint or red dot or something, and the white is always the 150. So we went from the red in. It's called the red zone. So it kind of had
really cool. That's a cool name. I like
it. Nobody's ever thought about that, but it's the red 100-yard marker has always been red. So
yeah. Very cool. Well, that is fun. I'm looking forward to seeing that, and make sure you let me know when that's officially out so I can go download it and start using it. And I told you before, any shot from 100 yards and in, I'm probably going to use my 56-degree wedge anyway. So, I mean, it's only going to be a 1 or 2 club challenge.
100 yards, you're pumping it up there from full swing.
Got about 94 is about my limit. Then I kick it back to a gap wedge.
That's solid.
So, tell me about your relationship with Keep Cool watches and Keep Cool belts.
Yeah, that's a funny thing. I was on Instagram, and I guess going back to what you said, what is my favorite platform? It seems to be Instagram of recent. I think I have like 885 posts, but I don't have that many followers. I'm restricted access, request only, but because there's so many, there's a lot of companies out there that follow you, and if they're not really golf related, and I don't really see them, like why I would follow, a painting company, like it just doesn't make sense to me. But so I sort of qualify people when I follow them. But Keep Cool Watches was on there, and I'd seen on some other people's postings, and they reposted, and I just contacted them and I said, hey guys, I really like your product. It's really cool. I'd love to pump it up for you. And they sent me a few watches and some belts, and I really like the product. And our relationship's been pretty good since that was in I think May. So they just came out with a new line of watches I think last week. Some really, really classy looking watches. They're not super expensive, but they look really nice, and they're at quality. So I just stumbled across them on Instagram and reached out to them, and they were certainly happy to respond and send me some stuff. So I'm happy to promote them. So there's another thing social media does for you. I mean, you get some partnerships and develop some partnerships through other companies, and who knows what it's going to turn into down the road.
Would it be accurate to say that is cool? See what I did there?
Yeah, it is very cool. And I'll tell you, every time I don't have the watch on right now, but it's in my golf bag. I was hitting balls earlier, but and I can't play with the watch on. But I'll be, walking around and people go, oh, your watch is kind of big there, and I'm like, yeah, it's nice, and they go, yeah, it's cool. So I'm like, yeah, it's actually called Keep Cool, and they go, really? Where can I get that? I'm like, you just get it online. You can buy it online. Just check it out. And they're like, really? I'm going to check that out. That's really nice. So they like it, and
That's awesome.
it's
I just sent you a friend request on Instagram, by the way.
Oh, hold on. Let me just accept that right now.
Let's see how fast. Here. Yeah, digital right there.
Wait. I don't want to cut into the Wi-Fi on this Google Hangout. So
no, you don't. Yeah. But you should show off your cool iPhone cover. You should definitely lift that up just a little bit more so folks can.
There he is, right there. There he is, right there, Les. All right.
Yep.
I'm gonna click the check mark. All right, I'm following you back too, which is,
Ooh, that is
all right.
A big deal.
You're in golf, so.
Wow, yeah, appreciate that.
Golf, I follow back. Boom.
There we go.
Awesome.
We're all hooked up.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of Snapchat, but I'm on Snapchat too. So.
I haven't ventured onto Snapchat. I haven't seen a ton of value in it, but the first person that I'll follow, maybe 5 years from now, you'll be telling people that maybe I'll tell people the first person that followed me on Snapchat was you, like you did with John Graham.
That's right.
So, Les, any final questions from you? That half an hour went by like that. I mean, that was so fast. Anything else from you?
Yes, I do have one. Do I have time to ask it, or are we?
Well, yeah, that's why schedule? I said, do you have any more questions? You have time.
Well, sometimes you ask that and you don't really mean it, I was just curious as to what you thought of the Ryder Cup picks for both the U.S. and Team Europe this year. The captain's
you know what? I really liked the way McGinley announced his picks. I thought that was very classy. And he didn't really center out the three people that didn't make the team on points, which was very cool. No pun intended there. I think Tom did a great job. I said Tom like I know him, but Mr. Watson picked some great players. I mean, you got some enthusiasm there, and Keegan, and you got Hunter, who's just coming off a win, or near win, sorry, at the Deutsche Bank, playing really well. And then you got Webb, who also played, in the last 2 or 3 tournaments really well. So you can't go wrong with those 3 picks. I don't think. I think that it's going to be a solid tournament or exhibition or whatever you want to call it.
Had Tiger not pulled himself out of the running, would he have picked Tiger?
I don't think so. I think he is one of the only captains that would get away with not picking him because, I mean, he's an older and proven, obviously, captain. But I think that he would have definitely got a pass on that. Not playing well, obviously, pretty much the whole year. He's injured, so that's not great.
He doesn't play well in the Ryder Cup anyway, so even when he's healthy, he doesn't play well in that format.
Record's not great. I don't know. I think he would have passed. That's my opinion of what he would have done. I don't want to speak for him, but I'm just saying I think that he would have passed. I think he would have. It's a hard position for him to be in, obviously. To say, okay, I'm not going to pick the best player that's ever, pretty much played the game and the most talented that's ever played the game. So, he's kind of hard between a rock and a hard place. But, if you go by record, it's not that great. He's injured and he's not playing well this year. Then, I think he would have had the criteria to get a pass on it to say, I'm not going to pick him.
Well, we're going to get to the back 9, which is 9 rapid-fire questions. And one of those questions, as it does every week, involves Tiger. And I have a feeling that based on hearing that answer, I know how you're going to answer that question. But 9 rapid-fire questions. Back 9, are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is your favorite golf course? And you are not allowed to say the one that you work for.
Oh, you're like the guys on Golf Channel Morning Drive. I said the same thing there. And I'm like, I think my club, Windnance. Okay, aside from my golf club, there's 2 clubs that I've played at. I think they're both probably tied. So I'm going to go with Banff Springs, okay, which is out in Calgary, or in Banff. Well, it's in Banff, but it's about an hour from Calgary. And then I'm going to go with another one out there no, I'm not going to go with that one. I'm going to go with the National in Toronto.
Like you got a laundry list, like the
number one course in Canada.
What is your handicap?
So technically, pros don't have handicaps. We have to play off 0. I play once a week. And that's not even true. In July, I played once because I had junior camps for the whole month of July. So I played July 2nd, and that was it. And then I came back and I played in our August long weekend. So if I shoot anywhere between 75 and 79, somewhere around there, I'm pretty happy playing once a week. I don't practice very much. I try to make sure all my students practice, but I don't practice very much because I'm usually coaching them.
All right. Well, I got a chance. I might be able to keep within a few strokes of you. So.
All right.
All right. Pepsi or Coke?
Neither.
Ooh, good answer.
BioSteel.
What is your favorite PGA Tour major?
PGA Tour. I didn't quite catch the end part there.
Major. Favorite PGA major?
I'm going to go with the Masters because I've been there twice now in the last 2 years.
Oh, awesome. Have you ever had a hole-in-one?
I've had one, 1995, hole number 2 at Greystone. It was a terrible shot. It went about 20 feet in the air. It was a 5-iron, and it was 195 yards away. I was disgusted because I hit it thin, and I was at the bag slamming my club in the bag. And my pro associate that I was playing with, he says, hey, Jay, I think I heard it hit the pin. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I think it went in. And I'm like, oh, really? And I was kind of excited then. But
That's awesome. Hashtag thin to win. What is your favorite golf movie?
Golf movie or Tin Cup?
Oh, good answer. That should be the only. That or Happy Gilmore. I'd allow either one of those.
I like Happy Gilmore too. Caddyshack, obviously classic, but
Yeah.
That's more Les's style, though.
yeah.
Less time frame. Let's put it that way.
I already know how you're going to answer this, but will Tiger break Jack's record?
Okay, so
You can't change your
I can qualify this because if he's healthy, and whoever coach that he decides to pick, which apparently there's only 3 because I read an article yesterday, so.
You weren't on the list, on the short list.
Not on the list. So he put in my name. I don't know if he's done with Canadians or what, but I'm going to say if he's healthy, he has a chance. Who knows how long he's going to play? I guess it goes back again to mindset and enthusiasm.
Does he not understand this is a yes or no answer?
No, but I like it because when we asked this before we went live, he was like, no. So
yeah.
I like him prefacing this.
If he's healthy, I said qualified. If he's healthy, yes. If he's not healthy, no. I don't know how long he's going to play. So, I hope that I get to see it. I also hope I get to see the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup one, decade. Since 1967, they've been trying. So I don't know if that's going to happen either. But hopefully he does and we get to see it. But if he doesn't, obviously he certainly made a great effort.
Who is your favorite LPGA Tour player?
Whoa, player. That's a good question too. I gotta think about that for a second. I'm gonna go with Lexi Thompson.
Okay. No, you have to say why though. That's not a question. That's like the second part of that question.
She owns her swing, which is great, and she just hits it. She just bombs it. Like she doesn't leave anything in the bag, which is.
Well, she drinks Red Bull, so that's part of it.
Yeah, there you go.
Red Bull gives you wings. And what is next for Jason Helman?
What is next for me? Well, other than the 2, sort of large announcements that I just made today. Obviously, get the app out there and get people using it and engage them, which is another reason why I built it, was because everybody practices their strengths. So when I see somebody go down to the range, they pull out their favorite club, like their fixed 56-degree sand wedge, and that seems to be all that they use, Ricky Potts. And they don't build skills. So hopefully the app, takes them and points out their weaknesses, which it's going to do, and they work with the app to help develop new shots and put them in their game. So that's kind of another reason why I did it. It's not just a game. It's basically to practice the skills that you never practice yourself, because you only practice the stuff you're good at, because that likes to make. We do it because it makes us feel good, but it doesn't help us get better at golf. So that's one of the main reasons why I did the app. And then, the Canadian junior golf team really developed that program and get it going. Hopefully we can have some satellite programs that go across Toronto. If any of the pros are out there watching this that are from Toronto or Ontario, we are willing to put it out there and get a satellite network going. So they can certainly contact me. Email is jasonhelmangolf@gmail.com. So it's very simple. 1L, 1N. Or go to my website and check it out, or go to the Canadian Junior Golf Team and there's contact information there as well. So those are the kinds of things that I am really focusing on right now. And then, onward and upward for 2015, because we're kind of at the end of the season here, getting close to the end of the season, end of September. Middle of October, we kind of sort of wrap things up from a coaching standpoint and move on to the winter programs starting November. And I like kids to have a little bit of a break between programs. So if they take the month of October off, that's great. Go play another sport, get engaged in that sport, whether it's hockey, volleyball, or whatever they're doing at school, and get a break from golf so that they're not one-dimensional. We're trying to create athletes and develop athletes, and if we get too sports-specific with kids, they burn out. We've seen it before. If you looked at the average age of a Korean LPGA tour player, they're pretty much done by the age of 26, 25, 26, because they're burned out from practicing from age 8 all the way up, 10, 12 hours a day. Not a lot of breaks. I'm not saying all of them like that, but quite a few of them are like that. So I've looked at how they break down and how long their career lasts. So their career might last from 18 years old to 26 or 25, and that's kind of short. So again, if we can develop athletes and while they're young and have them play other sports, you look at Dustin Johnson. He's a good athlete. He played sports all the way up, and I'm sure all the other tour players played a lot of sports growing up as well and weren't sports specific. So that's kind of what's next for me is to help develop that junior platform of new players and keep growing the game. We're losing players, on a daily basis. Every age group, not just kids, and but the age 25 to 35, even 40 is very, very minimal up here anyway. I don't know what it's like in the States, but they're just not engaged in the sport, and we need to get them back or get them engaged.
Well, very cool. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this. You mentioned Dennis Sales a little bit ago. He has been in a previous Friday Foursome with a different position. He's actually going to be our guest next week. So make sure you tune in to see Dennis talk about what he's doing in Texas. He was in Rhode Island the last time we talked to him, so he's moved across the country, and I know he's got a lot of stuff going on in Texas right now. So, and I'll make sure Jason Boslow doesn't skip out next week, because he would have really enjoyed today's conversation, especially with all of the junior stuff that you're doing. And I might even introduce him to you via email, just because I feel like he might have some additional questions if you have the chance to communicate with him that way. But thank you for doing this. That was fun. This will be on YouTube. I'll make sure the link gets shared around. Les, you are too busy watching TV for the last 10 minutes, so go watch whatever you're watching on TV there.
I'm watching the golf tournament.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you're watching golf and you're not watching football. We talked about football like 4 times during today's presentation. But thank you guys very much. And as Jesus Martinez says, who I think I want to bring him on for a quick announcement. He's got an announcement too. I'm not going to share it because I don't know if I'm supposed to, but he has an announcement, and I'm going to text him as soon as we get done here to see if he wants to come on and do that on Google Plus as well. But as he always says, and as he steals from the greatest movie of all time, as Jason Helman announced earlier, make more birdies.